This is the COMA Girl Daily Podcast, written by Stephanie Bond. November 16th, Wednesday. 14,334, 14,335. The door opened quietly. I might not have heard it except for the fact that it's early and the hospital is only beginning to rouse.
Good morning, COMA Girl.
It's the volunteer who reads to us often and exploits us occasionally. But at this point, what's another photo of me in my bed? I might be wearing a different headscarf, and from what the nurses say, my baby bump might be showing. But otherwise, I'm a still life arrangement.
It's chilly this morning,
he said, blowing, I assume, into his hands to warm them. I believe I've forgotten cold and hot. When I think of the words, instead of sensations, colors pop into my head. Pale blue for coolness, flame red for warmth. And I can conjure up images of ice and fire, but I can't recall what they feel like on my skin. Audrey Parks had escaped the vegetable patch, only to come back and torment the rest of us with descriptions of how horrible it was to try to adjust to living again. I suspect after a couple of years of non-being, a person would have to relearn everything about interacting with the world. No wonder she was having a rough go of it.
A while ago, I marked this Dickinson poem to read, he said, but the timing never felt right. But today, for some reason, it feels right. And I hope you like it.
Even the pages of the book sounded stiff as he turned them.
It's called I Have No Life But This, and I think it applies to everyone on this earth.
He paused to good effect, then began to read.
I have no life but this to lead it here, nor any death but lest dispelled from there, nor tie to earths to come, nor action new, except through this extent, the realm of you.
It's as if he's looking straight into my heart, as if he knows I'm struggling to accept this life. Part of the resistance is knowing what a burden I will be on my family, and especially my mother. But part of this resistance is plain old brattiness and wanting what I had before. And even though the philosophy of the poem seems especially poignant for someone like me and Karen Sue, our volunteer is correct that it applies to everyone in all walks of life. As hard as it might be to understand, even a life of privilege comes with its challenges. Look at Joanna. The door opened again, and I could tell the volunteer was startled by the way he jumped to his feet.
"Excuse me?" a woman asked. "The security guard told me I could come in. I'm looking for Marigold Kemp."
My mind is racing to identify the voice. The woman sounds young, and she's an uptalker. She ends every sentence as if she's asking a question.
You're in the right place,
the man said smoothly.
That's Marigold with the flowered headscarf.
"Oh? Are you a relative?"
A friend.
She sighed, then I heard the shuffle of papers.
"I teach an evening writing class at Kennesaw State."
Suddenly, I recognize the voice, and I know what's coming.
"I've had a manuscript of Marigold's for months. I didn't know what had happened. She just stopped coming to class. And I didn't have a mailing address for her. Then one day, I heard her name on television, and there she was in a coma. Anyway, I brought the manuscript."
Holy God! What the disorganized uptalker left out is the supremely pertinent fact that it was a therapy writing class. The manuscript is basically one long bitch fest about my messed up family. And because it was supposed to be confidential, I even used their real names.
Leave it, the volunteer said. I'll make sure it gets to the right person.
"Thanks? You're a lifesaver?"
This can't be happening. A tell-all on COMA Girl's life story was just handed to the man who has TMZ on speed dial. Sure enough, after the woman left, I heard the zip snap of a backpack being opened.
"I'll take this for safekeeping,"
he said, almost to himself. After a quick goodbye, he left, whistling under his breath. When I started recalling all the horrible things I'd written about everyone in my family, my mind began to spin. Because we had been encouraged to purge our demons in the assignment, I had bled my spleen on those pages with bitterness and scorn, even cruelty. When it got out, my family would definitely cut ties with me. And worse, the manuscript might be the only thing of me my child would ever know. When panic threatened to close in, I focused on the funereal music in my ear. 14,336. 14,337.
Hello, this is Stephanie Bond, author of the COMA Girl Daily podcast. You can give the gift of podcasting to a friend by showing them how to find an interesting podcast and how to subscribe. I hope you will consider sharing COMA Girl with someone you think would enjoy the story. Thanks so much for your support, and come back tomorrow for another episode of COMA Girl.